CryptoMan. I can help you understand cryptocurrency, everything from Bitcoin all the way through the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other cryptocurrencies. They call those altcoins. Anything that's not Bitcoin, the original Bitcoin, are called altcoins. This is a test of my new video setup, and I've got, as you can see, the background has dramatically changed. So I've put up a couple of banners and my new blue t-shirts, which are being distributed to people who help me spread the word. And we're calling ourselves cryptocurrency evangelists. Not in the religious term, but if you look at the world population, right now there are 7.44 billion and growing people in the world. Now, last year, I saw a quote somewhere, I haven't verified this, but last year there were approximately 250,000 people who owned any kind of cryptocurrency, Bitcoin or any kind of the coins. Now, Bitcoin came out, was created in 2008. It was released in early 2009. And initially, because it was anonymous, people used it for illegal stuff. There was a famous website called the Silk Road that you could buy just about anything there. Drugs or weapons. It was used for money laundering. The dark web, you've probably heard, was full of black hat hackers. And black hat hacker is one that does harm to someone else, crashing into their system, stealing their data, and then wiping out all their data, and then contacting the person later and saying, hey, if you pay me so many Bitcoin, then I'll restore your data. There's extortion, and a lot of people fell victim to that. Now, one of the things I want to do in the rest of my lifetime, hopefully I'll live 10, 20 years, I'm 66 years young right now, is to spread the word about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, this is like the wild, wild west. Gold miners rush to California to dig up gold. Well, people are rushing into this marketplace, the cryptocurrency marketplace, and correct me if I'm wrong, someone, but I don't believe the original Bitcoin and its underlying blockchain, which is open source, was designed to be a investment vehicle. I think it was designed to be an alternative to services like PayPal and credit cards and Western Union, a fast, efficient way of transferring money or assets from one place to the other without going through any big banks or any banks. It is totally decentralized. And because it's open source, people are skeptical about it. For example, my friend, when I worked for TWA, my friend Todd Knauer, kept telling me about this thing called Linux. He said, you got to look at it. He said, this Red Hat distribution, he said, look at it. It'll do anything that Windows will do. But get this, it's free. Free, free, free. Well, businesses were slow to accept Linux, even though the majority of the internet was running on user-supported software that was originally released by Torvald Linus, I think was his name. Maybe Sweden or somewhere, but that's not important. The important thing is that user-supported software did not catch on. People would pay big bucks to Microsoft, to Apple, to lots and lots of other companies to have their software. And this kind of came out of the mindset of, well, you can't go wrong if you recommend Big Blue, IBM, mainframes. That whole mentality. Well, I got involved in microcomputers in 1975 after having lost my job for the second time. I'd never heard of a microprocessor, but when I asked and asked and asked, why did I lose my job and my career was disrupted, the answer I got back was, well, the new PBX, that's a private branch exchange, which I had been installing for business customers, and it would take us typically, a crew of 3 or 4, maybe a month to install one of these big old things. Well, the new unit was about the size of a refrigerator. They'd wheel it in, set it down, plug it in, pop a tape in it from Bell Laboratories, and program that thing. And what I heard was it's microprocessor based. Now, this was 1975. I don't remember what month it was. But I've been doing research, and I'm comparing what happened in microprocessor revolution from 1975 for 20 years to 1995. And I've been finding out some interesting things. For example, Bill Gates and Ballmer, I don't remember his first name, but they were at Harvard, and they saw an article, cover story of Popular Electronics, with showing a computer called the Altair. Now, the Altair was a box. It had a bunch of dip switches and LEDs on it. And Bill and Ballmer, they decided they would go to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and talk to Ed Roberts, who was the founder and owner of Altair. Now, Altair was sold in a kit, and it wouldn't do anything. You could flip switches and make lights, LEDs light up and stuff, but unless you attached an input-output device, like a teletypewriter, that had an associated paper tape reader, you couldn't do much with it. There weren't really any glass teletypes back in those days, or what we know now as terminals, computer terminals. And the Altair, there was no board to allow it to read from cassette tape or to write to cassette tape. Later, Tarbell came out with one, and several other companies did. There was something called a Kansas City Standard, and Tarbell had a standard. But in those early days of 1975, Bill, well, first I got to tell you this. Bill was using timeshare, and that was what basically you had available back in those days. You have a terminal, you go to a computer center, and you'd rent time, and you'd pay by the hour, minute, second, whatever, to use other people's computers. Now, there was a programming language called BASIC, Beginner's All-Purpose Symbolic Instruction Code, that was up and running at a university called Dartmouth, D-A-R-T-M-O-U-T-H, I think. They're on the East Coast. Well, apparently Bill had familiarity with that and had used it, and what he decided to do was to, in my opinion, port that from the DEC platform at Digital Equipment Corporation, which they were a big mini-computer company back then. I don't remember which series of PDP it was, PDP 8, PDP 11, I'm not sure which it was. But Bill took that language and he wrote it, ported it, over to run on the Intel 8080, which the Altair used. Now, this program that Bill and Ballmer, I guess, I don't know who else was involved, but it ended up being punched out on paper tape, 8-level code they called ASCII, A-S-C-I-I, and it was on paper tape. And it was never rolled, about, so big. And later they had fan fold, paper tape, but I think what Bill delivered, was a roll that had 4K BASIC. That is 4,000 bytes. A byte is an 8-bit code. And he delivered that to Ed Roberts, and I don't know what sum of money that he got for it, but I suspect what he got was not commissions, but what is the word on it? Royalties off of sales. This was the beginning of Microsoft. Okay. Later, Apple got with Bill Gates, and Apple had Steve Wozniak, the co-founder of Apple, had written a version of BASIC, but it didn't have floating point capability. So, and that was a real downfall. So, Apple and Microsoft, in their early years, Microsoft provided a floating point BASIC in ROM memory. That stands for read-only memory. And that means when you turned on the Apple II, it would beep, especially the Apple II Plus. I think the floating point BASIC came in the Plus version. The original Apple II, well, there was an Apple I, which they only made 200 of. And that was for the Homebrew Computer Club, primarily, and I think Bike Shop in California bought 50 of them. We just resold those. But anyway, the Apple II used a 6502 processor, and Bill ported BASIC over to run on that processor. That processor was designed by Chuck Peddle and his design team. I think it was at Moss Tech was the company he was with. And that processor was used in the first Commodore computer called the PET. P-E-T. I forgot what that stands for. I first encountered that, Chuck Peddle, at the National Computer Conference in Dallas, Texas. We became Apple Computer's first distributor. We got serial number 17 for our demo unit. Didn't even have a case. That's how early we were with our relationship with Apple. And there were only 6 distributors in the United States. We were the first and the largest. And our company was called High Technology Incorporated. I had the good fortune of having a stock option. That's a whole different story for a different video. But I'm just basically testing here to see if my video setup's working and whether my audio is loud enough. I tend to talk loud anyway, and whether the background looks good. I've got my banners, I've got my t-shirts, the blue ones out there. The white one I'm wearing here is called my Crypto Assets shirt, because it has on it, I'll stand up here, you can see it. What it has on it are 66 different cryptos that I own at the time that I had this shirt made. Interesting little story. The company that printed the shirt said you have to have written permission from every one of those tokens that before we can print the shirt. So I got in touch with Bitcoin, their bitcoin.org, and looked at their website and talked to someone, and they said, oh, no, we're public domain. You can use our logo anywhere you want. Ethereum, ETH, they had some guidelines for theirs, but basically, once the t-shirt manufacturer understood that this whole thing, the blockchain, is public domain, and anybody can go out there and download the source code and create their own crypto coin. And if they really desire to, they can write up a white paper, build a website, do what they call a initial coin offering, and raise funds. And there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands, I don't know what the count is, but there are more coming on all the time. And even governments are putting out their own crypto. Venezuela just put out a crypto of their own. It's called Petro. So this thing is big. I mean big, big, big. Cryptocurrency is changing the world of finance. And instead of paying high dollars to transfer money from one bank to another and take 7 to 10 days for the transaction to occur, this cryptocurrency stuff can happen quickly. There's a new one called Lightning that promises to be fast enough and cheap enough to do what they call micro transactions, that you'll be able to go to Starbucks, who, by the way, just this past week on my blog, I posted it. I repost a lot of stuff. That Starbucks is looking into the blockchain. Now, again, blockchain is the underlying structure. I saw something that Walmart was wanting to patent some aspect of the blockchain, which to me that goes against the spirit of the open source. There's a lot of controversy over this, and part of what I am doing is educating people that don't have a clue, and I'm educating people who are they're investing. Some are doing great. 2017, I think, will be seen as the watershed year for cryptocurrency, where it came out of the dark web, and instead of being anonymous, the exchanges are now requiring you to do verification. When I did the last exchange I did, I had to hold my driver's license up to my webcam. I had to do front and back, and then I had to hold my face up to the webcam so they could take a picture of this ugly mug. And first 3 times, it didn't match. So they're being really particular about who gets on, and the reason is they want to cut down the illegal stuff, especially money laundering. And the governments, are behind this. Now, it's interesting to note, I use several different ways to promote my nonprofit business. And I should take a moment just to say, why my nonprofit? Well, I had an interesting experience. Initially, I had free on my business card. Free, help you understand cryptocurrency. And I don't expect to make any money out of this educational part, but my friend Garrett Gregg, he's a chiropractor, he was over at our house and we watched a webinar. Toward the end of the webinar, the man said, he said, my services, my advice is not free. He said, if somebody offers you something for free, beware. They might be a scam, but they're going to want something. So I decided, I had one other little incident that happened, but I decided that what I would do is I would put donate buttons embed in my videos, which I have 6 now. This will be number 7 if it makes the cut. And the donate buttons are to raise funds for kids with cancer. My son, when he was 17 years old, was diagnosed with glioblastoma multiforme. That's the same incurable cancer that Ted Kennedy died of not too long ago. Ad was diagnosed at 17. He had 2 brain surgeries, pretty radical ones. He had chemotherapy, he had radiation. I live in St. Louis. We do. We went to MD Anderson down in Houston a couple times. We looked at alternative treatments. Some were really bizarre. He died not long after his 18th birthday. Now, that was in 2003 when he died. And now, using this educational aspect of the cryptocurrency as my platform, I am raising funds to help other kids. Now, my first place to give is St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in Memphis, Tennessee. They do not charge for their services at all. For their patients, families, they don't charge. They only accept donations. The other is a group, nonprofit group here in St. Louis that was very helpful to Adam and us, his family. And they're called Friends of Kids with Cancer. So I'm raising funds for both those organizations, and my website right now have 5 or 9 products on my website, ranging in from 20 free business cards to business cards at 5 cents each to ink pens at $1 each. all the way up to $30 for this crypto assets shirt, which is my most expensive item. And all of those items on my website, which, by the way, my website is the-cryptoman.com. All it. That's simple. The things I'm asking for and all the prices on there are suggested donations. Okay? If you can't afford to donate, you don't want to donate, or you have a different cause that you want to donate to, you know, clean water or whatever, then you can get the products off my website. I'll ship them to you, but I just do ask that you donate. And if you donate somewhere else other than through my site, let me know so that I can kind of report to my board of directors. I just finished my 501c corporation paperwork yesterday, and I got my federal EIN number, which was actually easy peasy. I used a site called Rocket Lawyer, which like $7.99 a month. Yeah, great. But anyway, I got off. I get sidetracked a lot. What was I doing? I was just making this little test to see if my new video camera, which is from Amazon or eBay or somewhere, like a $10 or $12 high definition camera. And the video quality, what I'm seeing right now, is looking a lot better than my original video, which, by the way, it's stuck right now at like 9,200 and change. I don't know what happened, but I first put it out there, made it public February 4th, and boy, it went up and up and up, and it was about to break 10,000, and it just got stuck. So I don't know how to get it unstuck. So I'm just continuing making more videos. I'm going to replace that one with a whole different one because the video quality was low and the sound was not that good. So I've created a studio here at home, bought umbrella lighting. I have now 3 cameras and a professional 6-camera input device so that I can mix from the 3 video cameras and the 3 computer inputs, and I can combine, and I think I can do some pretty nice stuff that will be comparable to what other people are doing. Now, 2 of my videos are on things called crypto. Well, one is called Coinbase, which is where I got started buying my first cryptos, and it's just screenshots and me talking, which is kind of nice that you don't see my face. I want to get picture-in-a-picture working someday. But anyway, it walks you through my own account and my experience. I share my experience of how I got started, the fee structure, which at that time was 1.5% on transactions within Coinbase. And then I wanted to save fees. I'm cheap. So I transferred my money, my assets, crypto, over to a company that's totally owned by Coinbase called GDAX, GDAX.com. And it's free to transfer assets from one to the other. Now, Coinbase and GDAX only offer 4, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4 currencies, cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin, which is original, and then Bitcoin Cash, which was a hard fork. That's what we're getting, new language here with this technology. And then they have Ethereum, ETH, and then they have Litecoin, which is LTC. And that's all they have. Coinbase has those 4. GDAX has those 4. If you want to buy, like I did, all these, what I ended up buying penny cryptos. I wanted to get ones that were under $1 and that had the potential to shoot to the moon, as they call it. So my logic was, well, I'll buy a bunch of them, and maybe 2 or 3 will break out and shoot to the moon. And I may lose money on all the others. And speaking of that, I saw some advice somewhere that said, do not, like never, all caps, this is, Never invest more than you're willing to lose. And I add the word completely lose. Now, I think this applies to cryptocurrency. I think it applies to the general stock market. I think it applies to investing in cannabis, marijuana stocks, which there's 29 states now that have legalized it, and it's legal for medical purposes all across Canada. And I think Washington, D.C., it's legal. And there are about 9 states here that it's legal for recreation use. January 1st, 2018, California became legal to sell it across the counter for recreational use. And so there's a big potential there of the cannabis stocks to shoot to the moon, to really grow a lot. And I have 9 cannabis stocks that I am investing in, and that's not the reason I'm making this video, but while I'm on it, believe it or not, Scotts Miracle-Gro is considered a pot stock. Why? Because marijuana growers need to have fertilizer. They have good fertilizer, not anything much better than Scotts Miracle-Gro. Okay, so and I've opened an investment account with Fidelity Investments brokerage, and so I put money in there. So far, I've lost money, but cryptocurrency, I started buying my first crypto December 20th, I think, and it went up. I made pretty good at first, and then, of course, I've had the crash in the middle of January, and then February, Bitcoin dipped down like under 7,000, and now it's back up. I think it's like 11,000 now. One thing that's so different about the regular stock market and cryptocurrency trading is that crypto never sleeps. You can trade crypto 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, extra day on leap year, okay? And there are free tools that allow you to keep track of your crypto. And that's what I was trying to say, is that one of my videos, 2 of my videos, one is about something runs on my cell phone. I got a $25 or $29 Android cell phone, and it has enough memory to download this, and it's called Blockfolio, Blockfolio. And if you go to my website, I have one page that's dedicated to links to go to all these free tools. So Blockfolio I like because I can just lay it beside my bed. I can set alerts, so if a particular crypto goes above or below a certain threshold, it'll alert me. And it has charts, and it has all the basic things that you need. Then the next one that I did, and there's a link to, matter of fact, I've got that on my business card. There's a QR code that if you beep, shoot that with your phone, it'll take you directly to my Alt Pocket cryptocurrency tracker, and it will show you all of these cryptos that I own and what my current position is. Tell you how much I paid for them, when I bought them, and what their current value is now. It is really cool. You should come to my website and go look at what my holdings are. And I really encourage you to do that before you go plumping a bunch of money down, because people are getting scammed. For example, last week, the co-founder of Apple, Steve Wozniak, announced at a pretty high-level conference that he had gotten scammed in January, and someone scammed him out of 7 Bitcoin. Now, he only owed 8, but he agreed to sell 7 Bitcoin in January, and the price was still up, over 10,000 per coin, I think. And the person paid for it with a stolen credit card. Now, who would ever thought that that would happen, especially someone as smart? I mean, I think he's a genius. Designed the Apple I, the Apple II, I mean, but how could he get taken like that? But what I admire about him is that he's willing to admit it, okay? And by admitting it, he's helping other people not fall victim to scammers out there. Now, I guess in any industry you have, there are people that'll scam you, you know. Um, I won't go through the whole list, but anyway, I have a burning desire to help educate other people. Okay, and if this video can send people my way that can help me be what I'm calling a cryptocurrency evangelist. Again, not in the religious sense, but evangelists. There are digital evangelists. There are other kinds of evangelists, software evangelists, that they call themselves that, which is true. It's like I am spreading, not necessarily the good news, but the news about this change, worldwide change in our digital currency, worldwide change in our monetary systems. And I think this is bigger than the microcomputer revolution, than the email, that the World Wide Web, or I was about to call it the Wild Wild West. It's talking about digital gold. And bigger than eBay, Amazon, Facebook, all the social networks. This thing is huge. And I was saying before, there are less than 250,000 people in 2017 owned any digital currency. Any. You know, whether it be Bitcoin or any of the altcoins. So, and I've got a link on my website. You click there, and it'll take you to how many people in the world right now. It's like a world clock, except this is the number of people. And last time I checked it, there were 7.44 billion people in the world. Now you subtract 250,000 from that, and you still got a lot of people, over 7 billion, okay? So there are a lot of people in the masses that need to know about this. And so I got a big job ahead of me, and I'm not trying to educate every one of them. I'll just take them one at a time. And I've discovered something called meetups. Just went to one this week about Bitcoin. And I found out that they've been meeting for 5 years. They're in their 5th year of meeting monthly about Bitcoin. And the restaurant, the pub that we went to, it's called Sister Cities here in St. Louis on South Broadway. They had a Bitcoin ATM in their restaurant. I'd never seen one before. And my friend Jim said, "Hey, do this. This is interesting." He said, "Google St. Louis Bitcoin ATM." I did it, and there were over 20 that were up and running all the time. Well, guess what? The owner of those ATMs was there at the meeting. Okay, he's one of the organizers and leaders of this meetup. So I got a chance to get acquainted with him. I took all my marketing stuff, and they allowed me to just set it all on a table and distribute it, all free of charge. And I got to explain my little story about my son's death and why I am now nonprofit and why I am trying to I am raising funds to help cure cancer, especially in kids. It's just a shame that lives get ended early. Adam was so talented. His name was Adam, A-D-A-M, okay? And he took the word Adam, he reversed it, and he took the word inventor, put them together, and he called himself Madaventor, M-A-D-A-V-E-N-T-O-R. And so if you search the internet for Madaventor, you'll find he has a website still out there. And there are a lot of things that he developed for games. He did levels for games and patterns and all kinds of things. He was a very, very talented kid and a great kid. And I still stay in touch with his friends. His church youth group friends were very close. Matter of fact, most of them were there when he passed. I think there were 12 people surrounding his bed. We had hospice, of course. It was very touching. Now, I'm talking too much about this, but the funeral was really a kick-ass funeral. I mean, I've got the audio of the funeral, and I cry every time I hear it, because one of the songs in that is "I Can Only Imagine." I'd never heard it before, but our music director put that in, and so anyway, I don't have any of that kind of stuff posted on my website, and I'm not planning to post that. But who knows? Maybe, I will do something in honor of Adam. I had 3 other children, living children, 2 from my first wife, and one, I had 2 from each wife, and not planning to get married again. I got 2 ex-wives. They're both wonderful. The second one lives in the same apartment complex I do. We talk almost every Friday night. We go out to eat with family, and we're better friends now than we were when we were married. Fact is, she couldn't really stand me because I wasn't that good of a person. I'm still not that good of a person, but I'm trying to be a better person. And I think through this educational process of giving the rest of my life to educating others, I know I'm hammering a lot on this educational aspect, but that is what I am. And in the 70s, from 75 to 78, when we picked up, well, even after 78, 75 to 80, I went around to schools, to state fairs, to trade shows, to users group meetings, anywhere I could, to tell people what a microprocessor was and how it was going to change their lives. Okay? That's very much like what I'm doing right now. I'm telling people that this thing call it anything you want. The new digital currency, cryptocurrency, just crypto for short, it is changing lives. And it's also creating wealth. Now, a lot of people in 2017 made millions of dollars. But I don't think the original Bitcoin was created with that in mind. I don't think it was created as an investment vehicle. I think because there's kind of a fluke, the creator of Bitcoin limited the number of coins that could ever exist to 21 million. Now, currently, there's about 17 million in circulation, and so Bitcoin miners, which are necessary to move crypto from one exchange to another, or one person to another, they earn a percentage of that. Now, I say earn, they really earn it because they have dedicated hardware and software to do this mining. And what they get paid in is with Bitcoin. Now, it's on a scale so that it halves every so often. So they will make less money and less money and less money until the point that they don't make any money. Now, I don't know if mining just stops happening, but if you want to know about mining, do a Google search on crypto mining, and you'll find that when they first started out, people were doing it on their home PC, and then later they needed to have GPUs, graphical processing units. I think NVIDIA is one of the big ones, but a computer with several slots with graphic processing units in it. And then later, people started using what's called ASIC, ASIC, which is a dedicated processor designed for a specific purpose, and in this case, Bitcoin mining. And they're very, very power hungry. And you don't just have one, you have a rack of them, and you have a warehouse. And some countries like China are really cracking down on miners because they're drawing so much power that miners tend to go to countries that have inexpensive electricity, or in some cases free electricity, but not many of those. Only if they're getting it from geothermal or something, or solar. But anyway, now once they got to the point of having warehouses full of equipment to do the mining, now they start pooling together in order to really make it profitable. And I think there's even more sophisticated mining equipment than the ASIC processors now. But I don't know much about that yet. I just kind of learned a little bit about it this week at the meeting. So, but if you want to experience mining, you can go out and do, they call cloud mining. Now be careful, there are scams out there. But for as little as $15 a month, you can get an account and you can mine crypto. So you can learn about it. Now to me, every bit of crypto that I have purchased is even if I lose it all, it's an educational expense. Okay? That every bit is an educational expense because I can't go to college and say, teach me about cryptocurrency. Now, the word crypto goes way, way back, even to the times of Julius Caesar. He was the first person that I know of that used crypto. He would had a crypto code that he would send out messages, encrypted messages to his soldiers and leaders out in the field. Then in the war, I don't know, World War I or II, but crypto machines encoded messages. And I think, I'm not sure who the guy was, Alan Turing or somebody else, during the war, broke the German code that they were using, a machine called the Enigma machine. Well, I used the name the Crypto Man. I just grabbed the name. It was available. I got the domain and set up my websites and started using it. And then I went to Amazon and I looked, and there's a book called The Crypto Man. It's an old book, but I bought it, the paperback edition. I haven't read any of it yet, but I've got that posted, I think, on my website out there just for informational purposes. But I'm not unique. There are other Crypto Mans out. There's one guy named Dan the Crypto Man, and there are other people calling themselves Crypto Man. So I don't own the phrase the Crypto Man, but I'm finding that's very helpful to describe what it is that I'm doing. And I'm gonna wrap this up now. I have no idea if it recorded anything, but I do appreciate if it did record something, and I do post this out there. I do appreciate you listening, and I'd like to ask you to subscribe. I've just learned the reason I'm not getting any subscriptions is because I don't ask, and I'm now putting a button at the end of my, it should pop up here anytime, at the end of the video saying subscribe. And then remember, there's 2 donate buttons in there. The other thing, I got sidetracked, is that I've been using social media to spread my word. So I put my business card up, just business card, and I got this message from Facebook saying, oh, promote this ad, and you'll get so many followers and stuff. And so okay, I'll spend the money and I'll promote it. It got rejected first time. Did it again, got rejected the second time. And so now, I don't know, they say it violates their policy. And I think because it has the word cryptocurrency, altcoin, ICO, or penny crypto. One of those phrases, or maybe just the word Crypto Man, but one of those is violation of Facebook's policy. So, I just learned this recently. I embedded a poll in my videos, so asking if you think Facebook should deny my ads, or should they approve it, or do you not know what crypto is? So if you click one of those, I don't know how it works that I get the feedback, but I'm going to keep trying. But there's a lot of other places, other social networks that I can promote myself. It doesn't have to just be on Facebook. But I think Facebook is great, and I think their policy is old-fashioned, and they need to get with the program, and maybe they need to do a Google search on their city and Bitcoin ATM and find out that this is real and this is now. This is not foo-foo dust somewhere in the future. Okay, so anyway, thank you for viewing. Remember, subscribe, click on my poll, let Facebook know, yes, deny, no, accept, or let me know you want to know more about crypto. Contact me. My website again is the-cryptoman.com. You don't have to put any caps in there. Okay. I have other websites. If you just do a Google search for the-cryptoman, you'll probably find some stuff, because I've only been in this a couple of months, and it took a long time for me to get my website, what do they call it, the DNS distribution out there. And now I just put SEO on there, and I'm learning how to promote my site and get up for higher in the rankings. And of course, there's a lot of people out there that want to charge me lots of money, and I'm going, I'm a nonprofit. I don't want to spend what I could be giving, to others on your expertise. I'll figure it out myself. And if I don't get that high in the rankings, so be it. So anyway, if you want to help me, I welcome your help. Get in touch with me. My website, my phone, my email, those are all out there on my website, and I welcome your call anytime. I've been so excited about this that I'm like a kid. I'm 66 years young, and I've been pulling all-nighters, just working until I can't work anymore, and there's just more and more and more stuff to be done out there. But I'm loving it. I am loving it. I hope you enjoy your experiences with cryptocurrency and whatever this new digital currency, blockchain technology brings your way. Thanks, and God bless.